Hi, my dear friends. Good to see you all once again with me in a lecture and in a session which is going to be very, very interesting and helpful at the same time. So, why we have arranged this session for you? I am 100% sure that till now you have put in lots of efforts in your previous examinations. But this is going to be for your board examinations. And from the point of view of your board examinations, the 100% efforts that you're going to put in, I want all your efforts to reap the best fruits and the proper and the fruits that you deserve. So how to enhance and help your efforts to get the correct results. So this is where we are here to discuss all the tips, the tricks, and some of the ideas that I can give you which are going to be helpful to you in order to perform really well. So let's get started instantly without wasting another minute. Here we go with our guidance lecture in 3, 2, 1, go. The first and the foremost thing that everybody has issues with is what is going to be the paper pattern and how to manage our time. We have so less time and so many marks to conquer. So let me show you how it is done. The paper has been divided into two different parts. That is section A as well as section B. The first part is going to be of the literature and the grammar, right? And the section B, that is the second part, is going to be of literature and your writing skills. Now, how to manage your time for the allotted marks of the question. So that is what I'm going to guide you here. So let's get started. The very first question that we have here is of unseen passage, which is going to be very, very easy for you because this time we have multiple choice questions. And out of 12 given questions to you, you will have to solve 10 different questions. But read the passage carefully because without reading, you're not going to it will be rather difficult for you to solve even one of the questions out of them. So reading the passage carefully is must. Moving further, this unseen passage is going to be for 10 marks. Now the same rule applies for question number 2 because even question number 2 is going to be unseen passage, and out of all the 12 multiple choice questions, you will have to attempt only 10. Once again, for 10 marks. Now looking at the 20 marks scenario, how much time are you going to give? So let me tell you, my dear friends, 30 minutes is more than necessary that I have given to you for your 20 marks question. Moving on with question number 3. So here we are going to have seen passage A or B. That means seen passage. That means something from our literature, right? That is what from that something from our syllabus. That is from either the first flight or the footprints without feet, which is our supplementary reader, isn't it? But once again, in order to make your life easier, they are going to give you multiple choice questions, and out of them you will have to pick any one. That means any one passage, any one seen passage out of the two which is given. And those all 5 MCQs you will have to follow, you will have to attempt for 5 marks. When it comes to question number 4, in question number 4, we have poem, right? So out of these poems, we have once again multiple choice questions given to you, but you will be given 2 poetries, just like 2 scene passages, and out of them you will have to select any one to attempt it for 5 marks. 5 questions, 5 marks. 10 questions, 10 marks. This is going to be the scenario for question number 3 and 4. So once again, for 10 marks, 20 minutes is going to be more than enough for you to solve, to cover up these two questions. Moving further with question number 5. So question number 5 is going to be completely based on grammar. Now, what all topics are going to be included in this grammar? Wait, we are going to discuss that in a while. Right now, let me give you another good news that even in the grammar, we are going to have MCQs, that is multiple choice questions, wherein 12 questions would be given to you, and out of 12, you will have to solve any 10 for 10 marks. Don't you think it is so great and wonderful to have so many multiple choice questions? You will have your answers right over there to pick from. So all in all, for these 10 marks questions of grammar, you can give not more than 15 minutes. And let me tell you, my dear friends, 10 minutes to 15 minutes is suffice for the question number 5. So ensure that you utilize less time than whatever is given to you, so that more time can be given for the proofreading and so on. Moving further, now we are entering the second part of the question paper, that is section B. Remember, section A is going to deal with your literature and grammar, while section B is going to be of literature and writing skills. So what is going to be question number 6? So question number 6 is going to be your writing skill, that is the letter writing, and 2 options will be given to you, and out of them 2, you will have to solve any one for 5 marks. The same applies for question number 7, and that is going to be for of analytical paragraph. Now once again, analytical paragraph is going to be any one out of the 2 options given to you. Once again, even the analytical paragraph is going to be of 5 marks and for 15 minutes. So both the questions, that is question number 6 and 7, both the writing skills are going to be for 5 marks each, and you can give not more than 15 minutes. Please do not spend more than 15 minutes. 15 minutes is the utmost time that I have given to you, so that you don't waste your time in writing the rest of the questions. So all in all, we have grammar for 10 marks and writing skills for another 10. So we have grammar and writing skills for 10 marks and 10 marks, that is 20, while the entire literature paper goes for the 60 marks, right? So let's get started. Here we move on to question number 8, which is of literature. That is, 3 questions would be given to you, and out of those 3, this time we have options of any 2. That means any 2 questions of 20 to 30 words you will have to attempt in question number 8, A category, for 4 marks each. That means question number 8A will be for 4 marks, and question number 8B, once again with the same scenario, for 4 marks. So 2 marks each. So 2 marks, 2 marks, 4 marks for question number 8A, and 2 plus 2, that is question number 8B, for 4 marks. Being an 8-mark question, I believe I have given you once again more than necessary time, that is 20 minutes. Don't spend more than 20 minutes, which are more than enough, because generally these questions get over within 15 minutes. Continuing with the section B, now we are moving on with the literature part. That is question number 9A. Question number 9A deals with the same scenario, that is literature. Any questions from literature, that is either from the footprints or from the first flight. So question 8A, B, and question number 9A and B are going to deal with the literature, that is either from the first flight or from the footprints without feet, which is a supplementary reader. But this time, question number 9A and question number 9B are both going to be for 6 marks, but the word limit has increased from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 words. Being a 12-mark question, once again, 20 minutes are allotted to you. So don't spend more than 20 minutes here as well. Now we are moving on with a crucial part, that is question number 10. I don't say it is going to be difficult. It is rather going to be very easy, because this time, rather than two, here we have any one question that we have to pick. And the smartest part is that we know that question number 10 is going to be taken only from the first flight. For 100 to 120 words of a limit, the answers, that is any one answer that you will have to write for 5 marks. Is that clear? And now, moving on with question number 11, which is going to be the last one. The last question, that is literature. Once again, we have 100 to 120 words, any one question that we have to attempt, but this time, the questions that we have, the two questions that we are going to have or find in this particular question, that is question number 11, is from footprints without feet only. Once again, any one that you have to attempt for 5 marks. Now, being 100 to 120 limit of the words, I have given you 30 minutes for these entire 2 questions that you can give. Now, if you count all the time that I have given for the entire question paper is going to be more than necessary for your attempting these questions. But let me tell you, in spite of giving you more than necessary time here, we still have the 15 minutes which we can use for proofing as well as presentation. That means the proofreading, the 15 minutes are going to be very important for you. If you miss these 15 minutes, you may end up creating lots and lots of errors, that is silly errors, and you may end up losing marks. So proofreading and presentation is the most important part of your entire answer paper, because that is going to fetch you little marks that you must have lost because of your silly errors. So what you have to do is you have to go through each and every aspect of the paper, whether have you left any blank spaces, like for titles, for any incomplete answers that you couldn't solve before, and the most important part, and that is presentation. This is the time when you are going to spend your time in underlining the keywords, drawing all the margins and corrections which are to be done in the diagrams. Let me tell you, my dear friends, do not waste your time in drawing margins or underlining in the beginning. Rather, I would say spend your time in the last 15 minutes in your presentation and improving your presentation and proofreading it. So this was all about the paper pattern and the time management that you can do. So altogether, we have 180 minutes that we have in hand for 80 marks of the paper, right? So now, since we are done with the paper pattern, now I can move ahead and discuss 2 more important aspects, and that is which are the topics covered in our portion, and that is the grammar and the writing skills. So here I have a quick list of all the grammars that I am going to show you, and that is the first one is our non-finite verbs, which includes the participles, infinitives, and gerunds. The next part is our modal auxiliaries, which are the helping verbs, but the modals. Moving on further, we have the tenses, in which we are going to have or face the 2 questions, that is identify the tense or pick the correct tense or the changed version of it, right? The next thing that you have to importantly or most importantly practice is the subject verb agreement. That means the concord, wherein to form a proper sentence, this is the part which is going to be very helpful, because of which you do not get that half mark or 1 mark in your answers or in your writing skills. So practice this as much as possible. Moving on further, we have the next topic coming up, that is determiners. Determiners are all about the articles, the quantities, the quantifiers, the numerals, all right? How much to, we can have the articles like a and the, then we can have demonstrative adjectives, that is these, those, that, such, and so on. Then we can have possessive pronouns like mine, ours, theirs, and then we can have the quantifiers like much, so many, little, least, few, a few, and so on. So be very careful with these determiners. Moving on further, then we can have reported speech. This is not so easy, but it is very interesting at the same time. You have many uses of reported speech, isn't it? Anyway, the topics in which we are going to cover up in reported speech is the commands and the request, the statements, that is the assertive statements, and interrogative statements, that is the questions. So these are the 3 or the 4 categories which we are going to deal with in reported speech. The next thing that is going to be a part of the grammar is this, that is punctuations. Let me tell you, my dear friends, punctuations is going to be there in your examination, and you have to ensure that you practice it really well, which is of course going to be of great help to you in your writing skills as well. So these are the categories of the punctuations that you can practice, that is colon, semicolon, dash, hyphen, parenthesis, that is the brackets, exclamatory mark, question mark, inverted comma, single and double, and both, right? So these are all your grammar topics which will be included in your portion. Now let's go ahead with writing skills. So in writing skills, we have letters, which is formal and informal, and we have the analytical paragraph. In formal letter, we will have enquiry, letters, placing or cancellation of an order, complaint, or write a letter to your editor, to the newspaper editor, giving him complaints, giving him suggestions about the recent activity, event, or incident which has taken a place. Then there is a rare chance, or rather no chance, that we are going to get informal letter in our examination, so you need not practice that. But if you want, for your reference, you can go through the letter, informal letter, only for your reference, for your words that you can, the collection of your words that you can get from there. Otherwise, informal letters are not included in the portion. Analytical paragraph, on the other hand, is going to be there, which is going to be very important. And in that, we have the 2 kinds of questions going to be asked. Either they can ask you to write a paragraph with a given diagram, that is pie charts and so on, or they can give you a paragraph and they will inform you to write or to draw a diagram. So which are the topics which are deleted from the portion? Here we go. So from the first 5 portion, you don't need to study how to tell wild animals, trees, for Mitchell the otter, and for Anne Gregory, because these topics are skipped. Moving further with the footprints without feet, which is our supplementary reader. So from this, we don't need to study the Midnight Visitor, the Question of Trust, the Book That Saved the Earth. What a relief. So many chapters have been taken out, and now we have less portion to study. So I am sure that with this less portion, you're going to rock your examinations. Let's go ahead, and now it's time to discuss all your formats for your writing skills, or some tips which I can give you in these writing skills, right? Here we go with the first thing, that is letter writing. As we know that in letter writing, we don't have to study the informal letter. So there we are only left with the formal letter. So this is going to be the format of your letter writing, that is the two addresses, the one date, then the subject and the subject line, which is supposed to be underlined with a pencil. Then we have our salutation. Then we have our three paragraphs, which are supposed to be written in a block format. That means you have to stick to the first line, that is margin, right? Start the paragraphs from the margin, that is first, second, and the third, and you will have to leave a line in between them. Then we have our subscription and our sender's name. In the sender's name, either you can write a random pseudonym, or you can simply write XYZ. Moving further, I have placed comments of leave a line everywhere so that you know where you are supposed to leave a line in the letters. The date format is given to you, and the next thing that I want to add here is, do not forget to add pin codes. It can be imaginary as well. Imaginary pin codes are must piece of both the addresses, because without them the address is incomplete. Even if they have given the pin codes, or they haven't, you are supposed to write an imaginary pin code in both the addresses. So now it's time to go ahead with understanding how the marking scheme is going to be here. So let's understand for the formal letters. For formal letters, we have the sender's address and the date, that is for half mark, the recipient's address for half mark. For subject, if you have underlined the subject with pencil and if you have written the word subject completely, we are going to give you half mark. Once again, subscription and the closing also carries half mark. Apart from these, the two things that are going to carry more weightage, that is how you use the grammar, how you frame the sentences, and the main body, because grammar carries 1 mark, while your main body, which includes the 3 paragraphs, are going to be there for 2 marks. Once again, as we have discussed, no informal letter, so I can say it is not required. So now it's time to move ahead. Let's go with the next thing, that is our analytical paragraph. Now in analytical paragraph, obviously, as I said, we will have two options. Either a paragraph has to be converted into diagram, or a diagram has to be converted into paragraphs. So how do they look like? This is how a paragraph is going to look like in your examination, with a question, with a title already given to you, and you will have to convert it in a diagram. Not that this is the picture, this is how exactly you're supposed to be. You don't have to use color pencils, rather only a pencil, a dark pencil, a black pencil, right? So draw a neat label diagram with a pencil and you are through it. So ensure that whenever you draw these diagrams in analytical paragraph, it is going to be with pencil and they are neat. On the other hand, if we are supposed to attempt the question of diagram to paragraph, then how many sentences are required or are suffice? So let me tell you, for 5 marks, the information which will be given to you can get over in not more than 15 sentences. So 12 to 15 sentences are more than necessary while creating a paragraph in analytical paragraph. I hope these informations are going to be very helpful to you. Let's go ahead and understand the marking scheme for each. That is, if you draw a diagram, your title, your layout, that is the presentation, right, and the overall picture, the way you have drawn, is going to carry 1 mark each, while they are going to check whether you have covered all the points, all the necessary points, for which they are going to give you 5 marks. If you have covered them all, you will get 2 marks. If you are going to create a paragraph, the first and the foremost remains the title. If you have given a title, you will be getting 1 mark. If you have used all those points properly and framed your sentences, you will get 2 marks for that. The grammar, as well as the sentence framing, the language, and how you conclude will carry 1 mark each. So this is how 5 marks are going to be distributed amongst the answer for your writing skills. Moving further with your descriptive writing. So how to make your descriptive writing very interesting? So let me tell you. Descriptive writing is most probably based on your characters, right? Or the pictures. So in these cases, you can discuss the profession, you can think about the physical appearance of a person, or simply the appearance of the picture, which can include one of these points, that is profession, family background, the looks, the gender, the age, the name, the strength and the weaknesses, or the plot of the picture. Moving further, we can think about the qualities of each and every character that are being given. That is, the beliefs, the habits, the likes and the dislikes, the feelings and the behaviors towards himself and other characters. Let me tell you, people, you can use any one of these points or all of the points, whichever required. Moving further, while describing a person or a place, you should know the special qualities or the place that it is known for. And finally, we can say your opinion about the character, your personal opinion about the plot or the storyline. So this is how we can create a paragraph or 3 paragraphs or 2 paragraphs or on a descriptive writing when it comes to 5 marks question. Moving further, if they give you any qualities for the persons, so how can you use, or what type of adjectives that you can use to describe the person? So here we have a very interesting table which can be of great help to you in order to enhance your description about a person. I'm sure that this is going to be of great help once again for you to cover up your descriptive writing. Moving up further, here we have the story writing. So how to attempt a story writing? So first of all, the word limit is going to be not more than 100 to 120 words for 5 marks. The next thing is how to begin. So you can use some interesting phrases or rhetorical questions. Aren't they interesting? This is one of the rhetorical questions that I have just used. Character introduction. When you describe a character, don't forget to use the reported speech, that is direct speeches. He said, "I am so handsome." She said, "Wow." This can be an example of reported speech. Well, Think about the strengths and weaknesses. What strengths and weaknesses and what pros and cons you can add in any of the character introduction and so on. Moving up further in the story, so you should know what is going to be the plot that you're going to include in a story. That means what all events or incidents or sequences of incidents that you're going to add. So those different types of scenes are known as plot. And finally, here we come up with the conclusion. How you conclude the story decides how interesting you are as a person. So summarize it very well, bring out the moral if available, and don't forget to write it in a very short and sweet manner, that is, use a precise language. Moving further, let's start discussing how we are going to divide the marks for the story writing. So when it comes to dividing the marks for story writing, 1 mark is given for your title and how you begin the story. It has to be interesting. The next 1 mark is given for your use of vocabulary and a proper framing of sentences, which has the grammar in it. Well, if the cues or hints are given, they check if you have made a proper use of the points which are given to you or a proper points which you have thought about. If they are all included, they give you 1 mark for it. The next point is very important once again. The order has to be very well set. So for that, for all the writing skills, a tip that I can give you is create a rough column and start putting up pointers before you write any writing skill. Create your own pointers on what things or on what factors you are supposed to talk on or you're supposed to write on. So once you have your set of words or a register of words, you can then start writing, and then it will be very easy for you to maintain the order of the story. The next or the last 1 mark is given for your conclusion. If you conclude it in orderly, in a very proper way, or if you conclude it in a very interesting way, adding some of the um, morals in it, or if you can conclude any story by using some good proverbs or quotes, that would be interesting. Here we come with the next, that is the grammar structure. So which are the important factors in all these grammar things, that is all the grammar topics that we have just discussed? So whenever you practice non-finite verb, don't forget to practice this entire table which you have right in front of you. My dear friends, understanding the participles, their subtypes, infinitives, and the gerund is very important. So whenever you practice a non-finite, understand what is a participle, understand what is an infinitive, and understand the difference between a participle and a gerund. Going ahead with next topic, here we have our model auxiliary. So in model auxiliary, which is going to be a helping verb, how do we deal with it? So in model auxiliary, this table is going to be very helpful to you, as in the message says a model auxiliary can be used only as a helping verb, but they do not agree with this subject. If I give you an example to prove this right, we can say Ramesh and Suresh can fly a plane. Now, in this particular statement, let me tell you, here can is working as a helping verb, a model auxiliary. We cannot use it individually to make it a main verb. That will sound so funny. If we say Ramesh and Suresh can a plane, it sounds so odd, isn't it? That's why it can also only be used a as an auxiliary. Moving on with the next point, how do we prove that they don't agree with the subject? That means they do not change even if we change the subject from plural to singular. Let me give you an example. The next example that I can use here is not only Ramesh, but also Suresh can fly a plane. Wow. Even in this statement, let me tell you, even if I have changed Ramesh and Suresh from singular factor, from plural factor to singular ones, I haven't changed the verb. That means this point proves that even if I change the subject from plural to singular or vice versa, the verbs do not change. They remain as it is. So I hope this part was very clear to you. So this is how this point is very important in model auxiliary. Moving further with the model auxiliaries. So we know these are all the model auxiliaries that um, we have seen so far. And don't forget to learn all these functions. Don't worry, they are not so many. It's only that they have we have written it repeatedly, which for the given for the particular model auxiliary, which can use it. So need not worry. Whenever you practice a model auxiliary question, always keep this table in front of you. So I hope till here, all the concepts and all the tips were very important and helpful to you. Now we are moving ahead further with another concept, that is the tenses. So when it comes to the tenses, once again, what is so important about the tenses? So this table is going to be of great help to you. This talks about how the simple tense functions, that is present, past, and future, wherein in present and past, we have single verbs only. No matter whichever sentence you pick of simple present and simple past, you will find only single verb. There is no auxiliary, no helping verb given. But in future tense and all the remaining compound tenses, we have two verbs, that is will and shall, that is a helping verb, and the main verb, like will speak, shall speak, will go, shall go. Okay. Moving further, this table is going to be once again helpful to you because of the present participle and the past participle forms. That is the speaking, that is any verb plus ing becomes your present participle, and any verb with en or ed or ne or t endings or suffixes, we have past participle forms of them. Why are they so important? We know that present participle forms and past participle forms are the ones which are going to be helpful when it comes to the perfect continuous and the perfect continuous tense. Yes, this is the table which we have done, right? The auxiliaries, the main verb, the auxiliaries, the main verb, the auxiliaries, the main verb. But here we have an addition, that is the been, the word been, which is an additional. It is acting as a bridge for two tenses, that is perfect and the continuous. So this is how you have to carry on with this table whenever you practice the tenses. Coming up with the next concept, that is our reported speech. So when it comes to the reported speech, these are some of the important concepts that are going to be of great help to you. That is the 5 changes that we have learned. The reported rap. बाहर का टेंस पास्ट तो हिच अंदर चेंज कर, प्रेजेंट को तू पास्ट में कर, पास्ट को तू पास्ट परफेक्ट में कर, am is are was were में बदल, have or has को had में बदल. In the sentence, may becomes might, can becomes could, will would shall should. There is no change for all the proverbs, habitual actions, universal truths. Isn't it interesting? So this is how you have to learn the song, by heart it, and use it, implement it in the examinations whenever you attempt any question. Talking about this table that is 1, 2, 3, SON is whenever we change a sentence from direct to indirect, we always face three different pronouns in our sentences. That is first person, second person, and the third person. And we have learned that whenever we change the first person, it takes the position of the subject, the second person takes the position of the object, and the third person has no change. So this is how these tables are going to be of great help to you. Then once again, we have a list of all the words that are going to be changed from now to then, this to that, ago to before, today to that day, yesterday to the previous day, and so on. So this is how all the words and all the factors like said sorry, said thank you, said goodbye will be changed to apologize, thank, to bid goodbye, respectively, and so on. So it is very necessary to follow this table whenever it comes to the practice sets. Then we have another important factor in the uh, direct and indirect speech or reported speech, that is how the comma changes to that, and said changes to different words depending on the types of sentences. Like in assertive sentences, said can be changed either to said or told. In exclamatory sentences, said will be changed either to said or exclaimed. In imperative sentences, said can be changed to various or variety of words like ordered, requested, advised, suggested. But wait, here we have a change. Comma doesn't change to that. Your comma changes to instead of that. Let's go ahead. In imperative sentences, we have seen how the comma changes to, and we have variety of the words that can change from said to ordered, requested, advised, and so on. The same rule applies for interrogative sentences, that is, said can be changed either to asked or to inquired. But when it comes to the connective, that is comma, in a yes or no question, that is the first one, comma changes to if. But when it comes to a WH question, which has a WH word in it, the same WH word is used instead of comma. So these are some of the important tips that you can use, that you can keep in mind when it comes to reported speech. And now, my dear friends, here we are with another part of the session, and that is speciale. That means there is something special. That means a special tip that I am going to give you in order to enhance your writings. So let's get started. Here we go with the letters. What can you do for letters? How can you enhance your letters? Well, my dear friends, here we go. Some good starts. That means how to start a letter. So you have variety of options like, we would like to draw your kind attention in reference to your advertisement published in local newspaper, dated and the date. Then we can have, in response to your advertisement, I wish to say, I would like to beg you, and so on. Today we have received the parcel of the books or the toys sent by you. We are surprised to find, while cancelling the order, right? I came to know that the nearby localities are facing lots of issues. Through the esteemed columns of your prestigious newspaper, I would like to present my view over here. I received your previous letter and so on. Now, these were all for the formal letters that we have used, except for I received your previous letter. Most probably, we use it for the informal letter, which we do not have here. So it's a good news, you don't have to use it. And now let's take a look at how we can end the letter. So how can we end the letter? So let's take a look here. Here we go with the first point, that is for personal letters. With due regard, with love and best wishes, wishing you better health could have been used. And convey my best regards to, and so on. But once again, a good news, we don't have informal letters, so no need to bother. But in future, you can use it anywhere you want. For official or business letters, you should always use thank you in anticipation, which I presume that you use it. And we are at your service. This is something that you can use when it comes to partnerships, or we can say when we are presenting our interest to another companies, we can say we are at your service. Moving on with complaints. How you deal with the complaints? You have to be very polite. So in this case, we can say, in anticipation of your earliest reply, such a sweet language. But in replacement of that, you can also say, in anticipation of the earliest redressal of the problem. Yes, that's very important. You have a problem that you're facing and you want them to solve, you want the municipality or the government to solve it at the earliest. So you can say in anticipation of the earliest redressal of your problem. And the most commonly found out is thank you. So this was something about the letters, and now it's time to go ahead and look at an overall writing styles, that how you can enhance your writings. Now, when it comes to writings, it includes not only your letter, but all the other writing skills, plus your personal response questions. Not to forget, personal response questions are also a very important part of your um, your vocabulary, your grammar, your marks. Of course, maybe now in this pattern you're not going to use them, but for your future reference you can certainly use them. So be ready, or maybe you can practice them in your free time as an extra material, right? Or extra preparation for your examinations, for not only for your examinations, but for your excellence. You can practice these things. So here we come with the first thing that every student forgets, and that is giving title to your writing skills. Let me tell you, a title is 100% necessary for every paragraph, every writing skill that you write, because it acts like a name to a child. Imagine you without a name. How pathetic, how disgusting that would be. So giving a writing skill its identity, and that is title, is must. Well, these things, that is proverbs, they can be a great material to enhance, to adore your writing skills. It's like a jewelry to you. Rather, all these pointers like the quotes, the phrases, right? These are all going to be very interesting and they are going to decorate your writing skill. But wait, the third point, that is quotes. Whenever you add any quotes in any of your writing styles or your personal response in future, ensure that you're using the writers, the authors from your syllabus, because that is going to be even more beautiful to show the characters that you have studied really well. So ensure to use the writers and the quotes used by them in your writing styles. The next thing is a small work that I am going to give you in order to enhance your writings, is that from every chapter, every topic that you have in your syllabus, try to underline all the possible phrases which are available. You can use them, all of them, or any of them in your writing styles. So this is a small activity that you can do in your free time. You can also make use of idioms, which are like a general statement or made by a person in your examinations. The next point is once again a very important one, that is highlighting the key points with pencil. But remember, you have to do all these things, that is highlighting, in the end. In the last 15 minutes, which you have with you. Moving on with another point, that is, please write answers in English language paper and English paper in paragraphs. You are not supposed to write any answer in points. If you write any answer in points, your 2 marks will be deducted for no reason. So write every answer in paragraphs. And lastly, ensure that whatever you write it in a very short and sweet manner, and that is the precise language. I hope all these tips were very helpful and grateful to you, right? So use them, implement them all, and I can guarantee you that nobody can stop you from gaining not barely 50 or 60%, but 100% in your examination, that is 80 on 80. And now it's time to go ahead one step further, and that is, my dear friends, this is all about the examination preparations, but which is there in your syllabus. But what about your extra practice? What are you going to do? As an extra practice, what are you going to do? So here I have something extra, that is the supplementary thing, that is the additional thing that you can practice. These things may or may not be in your portion, but I want you to practice to enhance, to make you excellent in any of your education field when it comes to English. So the first thing is try to practice at least 3 report writings, because that will help you to enhance your writing style, and it will help you to write any material in a precise language. So practicing 3 report writings at least is must. The next thing is follow the allotted time limit to every question. That means you have to practice papers before going to the D-Day, that is the examination day. Now, whenever you write the examination or the papers, or you practice the papers, you can follow the time limit which I have given to you, and try to finish your question, your answer in the stipulated time. But if the answer is not getting over in the given time, I suggest leave the question then and there and go on to the next question. Try to attempt that. So likewise, you have to attempt each and every question in the given time only. And if the given time is falling short for you, leave the answer as it is. You can finish that in the end. That is the proofreading time. That is the 15 minutes which you have. In the end, you can do all these things in the end, but leave that question and try to finish your paper in the 3 hours or in the 165 minutes which I have given to you. Before going for your examination, practicing 7 papers is must. If you don't practice these 7 papers, I can guarantee you that you are going to face lots of trouble when it comes to your examination day. Practicing conditional clauses. Now, there must be a curiosity in your mind, which is definitely moving about, that why we are supposed to practice conditional clauses, what is the reference. So let me tell you, my dear friends, when it comes to conditional clauses, this is how we frame a sentence. Like, for example, if they play well, they will win the match. Now, these conditional clauses are going to be very helpful in your writing styles, in your writing skills, and any writing material, that is your answers or so, which includes these three types of conditions. That is, if plus present gives you present or future, if plus past tense gives you would plus the bare infinitive, or if plus past perfect gives you would plus have plus past participle. So these are the three conditions in with which you can practice the conditional clauses. This is something extra that you have to do it. This is not included in your portion, but this is only to enhance and to to gain excellence in your education. The next thing that I want to add here is practice conjunctions and the sentence change from complex to compound and compound to complex very nicely as much as possible. Try to practice conjunctions and complex to compound outside your portion, because this is going to help you frame a sentence in your analytical paragraph. When it comes to the analytical paragraphs, once again, try practicing the different types of data, that is either the outline of the story or the paragraph which is given, the data that is the bar graph or the line graph which is given to you, the charts, the cues, that means the hints, the pointers will be given to you, and try to think about that and try to create a diagram. Pie charts. This is again, a pie diagram is one another interesting fact that you can practice outside. The next thing that I have on the list is reading newspaper headlines, which is a must. So, as I say, reading newspaper headlines is must because they are going to give you an idea to how to create a title, right? Moving on with the last thing that I want you to practice is try writing 3 to 4 biographies. Try to read biographies and write them or rewrite them, or you can write an autobiography on any particular object, or ask your parents or ask your friends if they can give you any topic, a random topic. Friends are for help, right? And a best friend will always give you the best things in your life. So take help of your friends, your family, your relatives, and tell them to give you some topics for autobiographies. And or you can always ask me as a teacher. I'm definitely going to help you provide these topics. That's all for today, my dear friends. I hope this entire session was way helpful, and I'm sure that you all are going to be very great and you're going to prosper in your future. So good luck, and as you can see, fly high like this bird. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.